Yes, guys, how's everyone doing? Isn't a week so long in the championship, like between games? Horrible. It seems like ages ago we last played, and I finally get to watch this beautiful football team play again. This beautiful club, these beautiful people who represent them. But yeah, I just love it. I love it. Absolutely love it, people. Honestly, I love it. How's everyone doing? Thank you for support as usual on the last video. Sometimes I just get ideas. I just want to do them. Sit, and those are the ones that are random that I do really bad or really good. So I appreciate all the feedback on stuff like that. Yeah, you're all legends, and I will get to the rest of the comments. I realise, so thank you so much. But the team for the game coming up, and we've actually got issues. We've actually got issues. Um, Everything's so great in my head. Everything looks so good, doesn't it? Until Farke drops a bombshell that Pascal's 50-50. Oh, that'll be alright. We could just bring Vober in, can't we? No, he's also got another knee problem. So don't know why I did that. Yeah. We could be looking at a situation in theory. Let's say the worst case scenario. What do we do? And this is the important side of this thing. People, let me just keep saying this because there's some comments sometimes. This is not predicting the lineup. This is just talking about what different things we could do in the game. There's a lot of lineup predictions. This is more of a different problems to solve what we could do with each player. Now, if it's a worst case scenario and Strauch and Vober are both out, what do we do? Genuinely, what do we do? I don't know. Is honestly right. The obvious one is this. But the answer is, how fit is he? We know he's an absolute monster who just seems to recover from absolutely everything, as is Rodon. But is it too early? Farke made a point in the presser about him. He looked better in the last game. But can he start at centre back? At the end of the day, do we have any other options? Potentially. Gulavogi has played there in his career. Can he play there now? Has he still got that in him? Has he been around the squad long enough to understand that role? Maybe. That's why he got brought in. He got brought in for when we were short in midfield and short at the back. I've always wanted Gulavogi in this side just a little bit more, just to rest one of these two. Again, the manager comes out and saying, about the defensive side of the game and how, which some people have been saying, how the defensive side of the game is, we struggle a little bit without Ampadu in there, without that defensive cover. That's why I've wanted just drop, rest, just one of these guys. I'll bring Gulavogi on a little early instead of 2-minute cameos, just to add that solidity in there. Maybe he's not got it in his legs anymore. Maybe not. We don't know, do we? Let's be honest. We're not in training. Been seen him play 5 minutes. We don't know what he's got in the tank. Let's be honest. But his impact off the pitch is excellent. But I just my own personal preference, I just like to see him a little bit. So that is another option. How big of an option? I don't know. The third and final option, unless we're going in real deep into it, is probably De Bayo. Now, I'll be honest, he's not ready yet. James De Bayo's not ready yet. Good player, good potential, obviously. But he's not ready. He's not ready yet. Watching for the 21s quite a bit this season. Struggles in those games at times. He's not ready yet. He's not found that step, which can take a long time. Which, again, we should allow these players to take that step. And talking about De Bayo and crew, it actually got me into an idea of a video that I'm thinking of about the academy. It's not as much as I like talking about the players now. There's some genuinely really talented players in there. I honestly don't think the level of the academy is as good as what it was. Just looking at the players that come through that have homegrown from our academy. I know we probably get one every 2 or 3 years that is really good in Archie Gray and Calvin Phillips, but even Calvin Phillips was a late bloomer. I'm thinking of doing a video on that and how all the Man Cities, the Manchester United, the Liverpools, even the Sheffield Uniteds, those academies are kind of taking a lot of Leeds or Yorkshire talent, whereas I want us to be the top of that. So that might be a video idea. So let me know what you think about that. Anyway, it's a problem. The centre back, it's a problem. Look, the real stretch is Sam Byron playing there. That's the real stretch, and then bringing in Schmidt at fullback, which could happen. we know he trusts Sam Byram a lot. Obviously, he's played with him a lot. Really trusts the player. Really capable player on his day. And it's against Oxford now. The most respect in the world. They are not one of the top teams in this league. So you can bring in these players to do a job for this game. That's the key part for me. I'd be hesitant to risk Strauch if there's any risk that this can get worse. I really would be. I know we're short. I honestly think we have 2 decent options in there for this one isolated game to get us through it. But that is an issue. So I'm hoping that Strauch comes in. I'm hoping he's all right. I don't think Foba is. Swollen knee. But I'm hoping Strauch's all right. Genuinely, because that partnership's been really good this season. I need to keep seeing it grow. But we know Strauch has these injury issues. He's had them a lot of his career. So that's that. Fullbacks as well. If you're bringing Byram in, that's Schmidt. Does he trust Schmidt then? I don't know what's going on there. Things take time. Trust the process. Schmidt will get a chance. Trust me. Remember I said this. Schmidt will get a chance. The question is, will he take it? Eventually. But anyway, that's one thing. Midfield. He likes Ampadu. I like Ampadu. We all like Ampadu. And Farke said the same things I've been saying about that midfield, that defensive midfielder. He would have helped so much in the previous game. So many times on the counter, he would have snuffed it out, dealt with it. More aggressive on the edge of the box, all that stuff. How close is he, though? How close is he for Ampadu? That's the question. How close is he? I think this might be a little too close. But again, you're looking at a team where if you can get 60 minutes out of Ampadu in this game, this is assuming Strauch's. If Strauch's not fit, I don't want too much movement in there. But if Strauch's fit and you've got the same back four, can you then get a 60-minute out of Ampadu? Potentially. You know, the tough thing about this game with Oxford, although their form is terrible, there's no real rule book on how they are going to set up. I say that because they've lost their manager. You know, if I'm doing analysis on the opposition and you've got 19 games of proof, you can do stuff on individual players, but generally speaking, to do stuff on the team, you can't because the manager's gone. I know they've not brought in a new guy yet, but the assistant who's in there might have his own ideas. He might set up completely different. They've had a week to do it. It's quite hard to analyse the opposition deeply. So theoretically, you want players you can trust in those positions just to do their job. So there's no weird little gaps appearing that are unfamiliar. That's my experience in situations similar to this, where you don't know a lot about the opposition because, well, for whatever reason, you can't get the footage or changed manager. They've got completely different teams to what they did before. So you've got to be careful. You do have to be careful in the games like this, and I just don't think he's ready yet. I don't. And it's still the sharpness side of it. But if you can bring him on earlier, each game, good. Right now, it's going to be Tanaka Rothwell. I don't think we'll have the struggle we had the previous game. We're at home as well. It's a huge thing for us. These two do really well at home, generally speaking. We don't struggle. I do think, all being fit, that will be the back six for me. What do you guys think? Obviously. Now the front 3, 4 again, and it's the same stuff every week. I think you've got to, you know, in this game, you've got to go for who's going to score you the most goals, who's going to cause the most threat. I understand rotation, but not in this one. We've had a week's rest. So this is a chance to play the fittest team, the most informed players. Right now, in this minute, I'll be honest, I think this is a genuine option for the manager. Solomon, his last 2 or 3 sub appearances, actually looked very sharp. Again, he's only played 15, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. He's looked very sharp. I think James right now is undroppable. You don't need to rotate him. It's the first game in a week. He doesn't need any rotation. Nonto is hit and miss this season for me. I know some people are pointing out certain metrics about having the most chances in the league. There's also other metrics you can point out that go against that. You know, it's always, there's so many metrics. You got that's the point. Watch football with these. And then judge your opinion on what you see. That's what I always do. Stats can help you remember things that maybe you've not forgot or you don't remember clearly, or if there's a big sample size of a stat. But like I said, they're there to give you memory back on what you may have forgotten, because you forget most things you see in a game. And that's why the staff there around you to record what you see and give you stats that you miss. You know, you might have said, from my knowledge, and it was really good one-on-one, and then they'll show 6 occasions out of 6 in the game where one-on-one he loses the ball, for example. And it's a very basic example, but that's what they're there for me. Based on what I've seen in the game, what I see from the football player playing the sport, I just think he needs to come out for this one. If he doesn't, with him, you know, and what'll happen, hopefully, if he doesn't get dropped, he'll come in here, he'll dominate the game, he'll score some goals, he'll get some assists, he'll do the shush all the ears every time when he scores. I get it. I've been there. Not that I've not been there. But, you know, you always had one person in the opposition dugout that you knew didn't like you. You just, you know, it's the way it is. I've not been there with fans or 30,000 people, but you're allowed to be criticised if we don't think you're performing well. That's not criticising your character. That's not criticising you as a footballer, to be honest. It's just criticising, in my perspective, just your impact on the game, and based on what I believe is you're a very good player at this level and should be doing more. That's it. It's never personal with me, ever. I like every single player. I think they're brilliant. What they've achieved in their career, what they've done in their lives to get to this point, playing for Leeds United in the Championship, most people in the world will never be able to, good enough to do. I fully respect. You know, you have to say these things because sometimes stuff gets caught. I'm critiquing a performance to help them improve. That's my mindset. Yeah. But for right now, based on that, there's an option that he goes on the bench. You know, people are screaming Ramazani. Still think he needs 2 more weeks. I've said like I know him. I'm assuming, based on the fact he was out for 6 weeks, that's a long time, people. 6 weeks. A lot of games. He missed a lot of games. I still believe he might need a week or 2 to get back to playing 60, 70 minutes. And if that's the case, then you can probably start. Unless he's got 45 or more in him, he's not going to start, is he? Because he's not going to play him for 10 minutes or 20 minutes and take him off in the 20th minute. It's got to be over that half. They can bring him on. And I think we're fine right now because we still have really good options in that position. Isn't it weird as well? Every time we get an injury, it's always the same position and it's always more than one. We had like 2 wingers at once, both midfielders at once, full backs all at once. Now it's centre backs all at once. Annoying, innit? But yeah, so genuine things on Ramazani. I knew this would happen. I said, didn't I? I literally said people are going to want him back straight away when he just simply isn't fit enough to play more than 30 minutes in a game. He won't be for probably 2 more weeks, I'd say. But it could be more than that. Could be less. He might start. He might have got a really good week of training in. And I'd be absolutely delighted because I love Ramazani. He's so fun to watch. The second he went out of that team, we missed him and it was so clear to see. But yeah, I just think it's an option. Let's see how long he's got in the tank. You know? And this is the point. One thing that annoys me is, in all the football, is the whole, if he's on the bench, you could play him. No, if he's got 20 minutes in the tank, he'll play him for 20 minutes on the bench because he can impact the game off the bench. You know, he's on the bench because he can play a certain amount of minutes. Doesn't mean he can play 90 minutes. And we don't know that. We're not at training. We assume if he's on the bench, assume that he can't play those minutes. But yeah, anyway. Aronson will stay in there, whether some people like it or not. He needs to improve from last game because it was poor. It was poor. They all were, but he was poor. But there's no other options, and this is what I keep saying about 10 in January. There's no other options. Simply isn't. Who's the striker? Again, I just don't know much about Oxford, and there's not much you can say about Oxford because it's a different manager. They might have changed things and just totally got a real solid defensive shape set up for this game with counter-attacking, like Preston did. It could be totally different. It's a tough one, though. Again, there's no right or wrong answer in this for me. I'll be honest. I think they both have quirks, things they're good at, things they need to improve on. It's always just a gamble. If you're playing, it's simple. If you're playing pro, give him chances in the box. Simple. If you're playing Joseph, give it him round the corners. Look to where he's running. Come to feet quickly. And if pro's playing, He needs to be sharp on the ball. His touch needs to be good. He needs to be in positions to receive the ball. He needs to get involved in build-up, but do it quickly. If he hesitates on the ball, he loses it. If Joseph's playing, he needs to make the right runs. He needs to be clinical in the box. Yeah, whoever's playing, when he holds it up, he's got to find where that defender is first and make sure that guy can't go through him, because it's happened a few many times this season. He needs to be meaner. He used to be mean when he came on. He used to be mean. He's not mean enough for me this season. Last season when he came on, he was mean. Yeah, I need a bit more of that from him because it's in there. It is in there. They all need a bit meaner. I need to see a bit more steel from these two. A lot of silk, no steel in this team. I mentioned that about Southampton last year. Very silky, but not a lot of steel. I think that's us a bit. Very silky, not a lot of steel. Need more steel. But yeah, so those are the options. I'm going to go with Joseph in there, genuinely speaking. Could be anyone. Who knows? Don't know much about Oxford. They've changed their entire setup, probably. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate all the support. As usual, please don't give it up. Keep coming. I'd appreciate it. Obviously, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.